I didn't see much at all for how they're going to solve the problems for the everyday Tableau desktop user, and that's the DataFam. So I think it was a huge missed opportunity.
Welcome to the Data Nerd Podcast. I'm your host, Nisar Ahmed. Join me as we explore the inner data nerd inside all of us. Dive into the world of data alongside special guests who not only share their wealth of experience and knowledge, but also unveil what truly makes them data nerds. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a comment wherever you listen. And for all episodes, plus exclusive merch like the Data Nerd hat, head over to the datanerdpodcast.com. Andy Kriebel. Andy, you are. So I remember going to a Tableau conference, and there was one session where they put up a viz about the most popular Tableau. Uh, I don't know. I'll just call you. Would you say you're an influencer, Tableau influencer?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, and they were ranking them, and then you were number one. So you're very well known in the Tableau community, and you've done a lot for the Tableau community. Um, but let me do a brief intro, then I'll give it to you, and maybe you can expand on it a little bit.
Sure.
Um, so Andy is one of the most influential and recognizable leaders in data visualization space, a Tableau Zen master, Hall of Famer, former head coach of the data school, and creator of the iconic Makeover Monday project. Andy has taught millions how to transform data into clear, meaningful insights. He also is the founder of Next-Level Tableau, where he helps analysts elevate their Tableau skills through practical, real-world techniques. So that school you started, if I'm not mistaken, pretty recently, right?
The Next-Level Tableau?
Next-Level Tableau,
Yeah,
yes.
it's not. I wouldn't call it a school. It's a membership based community.
Okay.
Yeah, and what I do at Next Level Tableau is I help ambitious Tableau analysts who have hit a ceiling or feel stuck become the experts everybody relies on. The people that get promoted, recognized, and kind of sought after for new roles. And inside of Next Level Tableau, they build elite level skills through live high impact training that develops exceptional talent. We don't just learn Tableau, we learn
Hmm.
how to build our skills.
Skills, and are you you're not just talking about technical skills, or is it just focused on technical?
Oh, it's decision making, technical skills, decision making, communication, all of the skills that a great data analyst needs.
Yeah, because I do see you're pretty active on LinkedIn, right? And
Yeah,
so that something that you also teach or talk about, that put yourself out there, or
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of every class, so I run 3 classes a week.
Mhm.
And at the end of every class, there's typically a bit left to do with whatever we're working on for that particular class. So I encourage everybody to do a bit of homework. Of course, I can't require people to do it,
Yeah.
but it might be like just cleaning up the viz, putting your own touches on it, checking your tooltips, and then publishing. Well, first off, posting it on our community in Next Level Tableau community to
Mhm.
get feedback, but then also posting it on your Tableau public so that you're building your portfolio, and posting it on LinkedIn and tagging me on it on LinkedIn so that I can help them start building their network as well, which is getting them exposure, getting them new jobs, things like that. Or people that are, there's even people that are brand new to Tableau that are getting jobs because of the stuff they're doing in Next Level Tableau.
Yeah. That's a very underrated part of not I wouldn't say the job, but of your skill set is of not just doing the work, but showcasing it, right?
Yeah.
So that it's not for it's not just to say, oh, look at what I've done, just to feed your ego. It's more about, it's like your portfolio that you want to showcase, and it opens up the doors to opportunities, right?
Yeah, and if you think about, if you and I, for example, or
Mm,
2 other people are competing for the same job and they have the exact same qualifications, and one person has a Tableau portfolio and one person doesn't, who do you think the job's going to go to,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It's always going to be the person that's able to demonstrate their skills rather than talk about them. And that's a big issue that I see. There's a lot of people that I talk to on LinkedIn, they don't have portfolios and they wonder why they can't get jobs. And, they're getting passed over because they're not putting the work in.
The reality is nowadays, especially with AI, everyone's resume could look amazing, right? So it's hard
Exactly. Yeah.
it's hard to differentiate a good
Hmm.
candidate. And so now Tableau, I mean, yes, there is some AI infused in Tableau now, but it's not the same as
Right.
generative AI for resumes, right? And
Right.
so
Right.
what you have on Tableau Public, it's still something that you created. It's not generated by any artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it also shows a progression in your work. So if you're, brand new, like if you're brand new in Next Level Tableau and you start publishing, 3 things a week, you're after even just after a month, you're going to be able to see the progress in your work. And as an employer, you're going to look for people that can develop their skills, right? Not just somebody that's showing only their best stuff. I encourage people to post everything because you want people to see how you can learn, how you're demonstrating that you can improve your skills by putting in the work. That's a very
Yeah.
valuable skill.
Yeah, that happens actually because what happens is if you're somebody who has, I don't know, let's suppose you have 20 visits on your Tableau public profile and then you look back at your original post, you're like, oh, I don't like these. Let me take them off. It's not a good idea to remove them because actually what it shows you is here's where I was and here's where I've come. This is my progression. And the growth is something that you want to showcase.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. Um, okay. So you had, I don't know, it was probably last week where you came back from DataFam Europe,
Hmm.
right? And you put a LinkedIn post up and it struck a chord with me. And I feel that it'll strike a chord with a lot of people, especially with people in the DataFam. And for those who don't know, what a data fam well, what's the data fam? Do you want to maybe explain what the data fam is and maybe what sparked your what was your motivation in that post and what did you
Hmm.
talk about?
So I would define the DataFam as, I mean, it's kind of synonymous with the name Tableau Community. It's just kind of the brand on the Tableau community, I would think. But it's
Mm,
the people that are super passionate about Tableau, about sharing their knowledge, about trying to make the product better, giving feedback, helping each other, all those sorts of things. Um, and my estimation, my complete guess is that probably 90 to 95% of those people are Tableau desktop users, right?
mm,
I've never heard of anybody, there's a couple of people that love Tableau server, but, you know, Tableau desktop is what makes people fall in love with Tableau. And last week when I was at the DataFam Europe, and it was the first day. After the first day is when I wrote my LinkedIn post. Um, it's branded as DataFam Europe, which to me meant
mm.
that the conference was going to be focused on the DataFam. I didn't feel like it was. I felt like it was a pitch at the wrong audience, and that's basically what I wrote about. Um, it wasn't. I didn't see much at all for how they're going to solve the problems for the everyday Tableau desktop user, and that's the DataFam. So I think it was a huge missed opportunity by Tableau or by Salesforce, I guess I shouldn't say Tableau, by Salesforce to really target that audience. And yeah, it's just very, very, I was incredibly frustrated that, people spend money to come to this conference, whether it's tickets, hotels, travel, and I felt like we weren't kind of given what we were sort of, well, at least what I expected. And I heard from a lot of people after that thanking me for speaking up.
Mm.
What I find interesting is that those same people are now posting about how wonderful the conference was. So
Well,
um,
yeah.
there's a lot of drinking the Kool-Aid, but not being it. Basically, they thank me for being the voice of the community and speaking my mind. but they don't have the courage to do it themselves, which is really frustrating because then I look like the bad guy. Um, Although maybe bad guy is not the word. I look like the honest person.
Yeah.
And just yesterday is when somebody from Tableau finally reached out to me in a leadership role.
Uh-huh.
So this has been a week,
Yeah.
and I finally heard from somebody. I mean, do they, it makes me think like, how important was it? I heard that it was going around the senior leadership at Tableau,
Yeah.
um, but they were at the conference and none of them spoke to me about it. So
Yeah.
it makes me think like, I'm just disappointed.
So you've been around Tableau for a long time, right? Like when did you start
Yeah,
using Tableau?
2007,
Okay. And Salesforce bought Tableau, I think it was
like
2019.
19, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's been about
right
five,
before
6 years
COVID. Yeah.
before COVID. Yeah. Is that when everything changed?
Uh, I wouldn't say everything changed at that moment, but that's what started the change. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been to conferences pre and post acquisition. Um, I came to Tableau a little bit later than you. I started 2016, right? But
Hmm.
um, it is the DataFam that drew me to Tableau. That was what
Yeah.
made me fall in love with it at the conference.
Hmm.
It's I've never been to a conference where I saw a community like the DataFam in Tableau. It's amazing. It still is amazing.
Yeah.
The DataFam still exists, right? And
Hmm.
there are still many people who are where the core is using desktop. You and I included.
Yeah.
I'm also a very desktop heavy user as well.
Hmm.
And you and I make a living using Tableau, and we still love the product,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this is not we're not saying anything against Tableau necessarily. I think it's more about perhaps their focus and I would say pre Salesforce, a lot of the conferences when I would go to the sessions and I'd get actual tangible takeaways and I can say, oh, I'm excited to go back because I can implement this in desktop, right? And
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
and yes, there were sessions about server and whatnot, but like to your point, the bulk of it was about desktop, including the keynotes, right?
Yeah.
Uh, More recent years, it's changed. I don't know, maybe on purpose. I do notice a lot more Salesforce focused sessions, and uh, I, I I don't use Salesforce. I'm not a Salesforce customer, right? So
Hmm.
for me, and I'm sure there are
And
people
most Tableau
there.
users aren't
Most Tableau users
Salesforce
aren't,
focused.
right?
Yeah.
And there is a separate Salesforce conference as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I feel that the Tableau conference focus should be on Tableau and that data fam and you're saying you're seeing that shift, right? So I don't know. I mean, do you think based on and you don't have to tell us what the conversation was about, but do you feel that that resonated with Tableau now and they agree that they do need to make a change, or was it more about you know, this is why we're doing what we're doing.
Well, the conversation that I mentioned has isn't going to happen for another week, so it's going to be 2 weeks after the event,
I see.
which is a bit, it makes me think, is this really a priority or is it just to appease me?
Hmm.
So if, and that's where I get frustrated. If the data fam is as important as they say it is, and I'm one of their biggest voices, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I think I'm
Yeah,
their
you
biggest
are.
proponents,
Yeah.
and I'm frustrated, and I don't even talk to somebody until what, 2 weeks after the event. How important is that feedback really? It makes me feel like, okay, they're going to listen to me. They're going to say, oh, we'll make some changes, but they won't. And is it, we've had those discussions with the senior management before about the data fam and that kind of stuff, and we just don't see the changes. Um, and that's where I'm concerned. Back to your point about the conferences, so
Yeah.
you remember pre-acquisition
Yeah.
when they would do devs on stage, for example.
Hmm.
Do you remember how excited and how the crowd would
Yes.
cheer for these things that were solving massive problems that people were having?
Yeah.
Has that
Yeah.
even happened since the acquisition? I can't think of it.
Mm,
I can't think of a time where people have been that excited that they would run through a wall for Tableau.
they still have devs on stage.
They do, but yeah, they still have devs on stage. That's true. But as far as kind of like the enthusiasm that you're seeing
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
data fat
Right.
from that
Right.
perspective, right? Um, do I don't feel like I hear that same excitement that I used to hear with like dev. I'm just using devs on stage as
Yeah.
one example, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it feels
It,
like it's the conference, like you mentioned, the conference is about Salesforce and it's about the Salesforce employees presenting. Yes, there are community sessions, but I remember there being like lots of great customer sessions where they're talking about how Tableau transformed their business, like tons of those sessions. It was all pretty much customers and community before, except for the hands-on learning sessions.
yeah.
Um, and now it feels like it's kind of flipped the other way.
Do you think a reason why it's shifting, or one of the reasons, is because of the shift or
I think
adoption
it's
of?
just the way Salesforce does conferences. That's it.
Uh,
They have a different way of running conferences than Tableau does, and that's just
yeah.
a natural change in due to the acquisition. So they're following their template or whatever you want to call it for conferences, um, and that's fine. It's their conference. It's not ours.
Yeah.
They can run it kind of however they want, but that's their formula.
Do you think the focus on AI is part of that shift, and Salesforce being an integral part of that solution?
Um, well, I mean that's a much more recent thing though. If we
Yeah.
go back to when Salesforce first took over.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
But more in
yeah.
recent years, or
Well, I
the
think
recent
about,
years.
like I always felt coming out of the conference super inspired.
Yeah.
Um, like when's the last time we had a really inspirational keynote speaker that wasn't somebody from Tableau? They
Oh.
don't even do that anymore, right?
Uh,
Was there
it's
one? Has there been
probably
one since the
pre-COVID.
probably pre-COVID, right?
Yeah, probably like
I
New
remember
Orleans.
people,
I think New Orleans
like
was.
yeah, like Hannah Fairfield
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson and
Yeah.
these really really Adam Grant, these people that really and they would always kind of tailor their message toward what would inspire us as the data fam. Um, and we don't get those anymore. And that again that's I guess that's just the way that they run their conferences. Um, but it's I don't feel as inspired coming out of conferences as I used to.
Yeah. Well, do you think a part of that is obviously you're very experienced and your knowledge level? I, I'd be surprised if there's anything that you attend that you don't already know because you know a lot about Tableau, right? So do you think it's just because you have these years of experience and you've already kind of reached the cap of knowledge and inspiration?
Well, there's no way that I've come even close to reaching my cap of knowledge. Uh, there's there are always fantastic community speakers, and I try to go support them.
Yeah.
I never go to sessions that are run by Tableau or Salesforce employees because I've seen too many instances where, and this is kind of hard to say without sounding mean, but where they don't really know what they're doing. They're
We
following
talked
a
about
script, but
that.
it's like, that's not the best way to do things. That's not, and again, that's just what their skill level is, right? They just don't, like you said, they don't have my experience. Um, but and maybe other people don't know. I've walked out of sessions before. I've been in the front row and walked out of sessions
Um,
before because it's like, there's
y-
only a certain amount of time that we have at the conference and we can only consume so much content. So if you're in a session
mm,
and it's not useful, you should walk out. It doesn't matter if you're in the front row or the back row. And if
yeah.
the speaker doesn't like that, well, tough. It's your conference. Like I think about the last keynote at the Tableau conference.
Hmm.
What I think gets lost is when people get on their phones, that means you've lost your audience.
Yes.
So there were certain parts of the keynotes last year where people just completely tuned out.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
you have to do is look around the room and see how many people are on their phones, and that's when you know that you've lost the audience. And um, yeah, I just there's a lot of signals that are being given that I don't know the answer.
Because it was felt like a marketing pitch, right? A sales
Oh
pitch.
yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. At the European conference, there was even mentions of like we want to make Salesforce easier to buy, or Tableau, whatever. It's
Mm,
like, but this is the DataFam. These aren't the buyers.
yeah.
The desktop users aren't the people
Th-
making
th- th-
purchasing decisions,
That's true. How many of the people who are making purchasing decisions are not attending Tableau conference,
and they're not in the DataFam,
and they're not
most
in the data
likely.
plan? Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and
Well, maybe they feel that they can influence the decisions because they're the core users.
possibly, but it's I think Tableau conference and then DataFam Europe are two different things. It's two different audiences.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, of course, there's going to be a lot of overlap between the two, but as particularly the conference last week, it was marketed at the DataFam. The DataFam are not your buyers. They're not the people that are going to be deciding whether or not you move to Tableau next. They're the people that have specific problems that they need solved, right? And
Yeah.
you see the discussions about those problems. You look on the forums or well whatever it is now, um, and you can see the problems people are having. And yeah, it's just frustrating.
Um, did you go to, I think this was the second year of the DataFam Europe?
Yeah,
They had one last year. Did you go
yeah.
last?
Yes.
And was it different?
Well, I noticed it more this year.
Okay.
Um, I don't remember enough about last year's conference to kind of speak intelligently about that, but I know there were customer sessions that I went to that were very interesting. Um, there were yeah, it didn't uh I didn't come out of it feeling like I was let down,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't remember enough about the keynote, so
Yeah. Um, how big is I haven't attended the DataFam conference. Scale wise, it's not the same scale as Tableau
oh,
Conf,
not
right?
even close. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It's a
don't
more
know how
it's a
many people. I
smaller.
would guess maybe 500.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know the number. I'm guessing 500.
Yeah.
Could be a
It-
thousand. I don't know, but it's quite small.
yeah. Um, you mentioned something about walking out of sessions. Uh, and I think you touched on this on the post where you noticed that they weren't as prepared in some of the presentations. Um,
Hmm.
is that also a common theme that you're seeing?
Um, no, not always. It definitely doesn't happen every time. Um,
In terms of
but it
the delivery, right?
yeah, the delivery. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure they prepare. Uh, but do they prepare to the same level they do for TC? I don't think so.
Hmm.
Um, for example, there were lots of ums and ahs and weird pauses and reading directly off the screen. You
Yeah.
know, I just it left me with the impression that it wasn't that important to deliver something really inspirational, meaningful to people. Um, and if you're not prepared, if you don't have time to prepare, that's perfectly fine. But let somebody else do it then. You know,
Yeah.
because there's plenty of people that I'm sure would jump at those opportunities. Um, but yeah, yeah, and maybe I'm just spoiled by the speakers from the past.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
going
It-
back. But that's the expectation that I have going in. Maybe people that are this is their first time, they wouldn't have even noticed, right? That's um, but yeah, I mean, based on conversations that I had with people at the conference after my post and people that messaged me, um, that was the people that messaged me. That was the consensus. It's obviously a very small sample, but they're all influencers.
yeah. Um, you know, I've I'm a recent Tableau ambassador, right? So I'm new. I'm part of the DataFam community, but the ambassador community as well is, when you go to Tableau conference, we have meetups and session and
Yeah,
opportunity to talk to other ambassadors as well. So it was a very new experience for me the last time. For me, the shift, I do attend sessions, but the other benefit is meeting other uh, people in the DataFam.
yeah,
Was that still a benefit in the conference and in DataFam Europe?
yeah.
Were you able to network and still meet
Absolutely.
the
Yeah,
community?
yeah. The networking is always great. Um, it's sometimes it feels like a family reunion because
Yeah,
these are people that you've gotten to know really well online. Even sometimes you meet them for the first time in person. It's like you've known each other forever.
yeah,
So yeah, the networking was great,
yeah,
definitely, and the way the space was set up was great for networking. There was one huge common area, and then there was like these kind of little uh, I don't know if it wasn't there was a separate space for the community if people wanted a quieter space, but there were several areas where it felt like a natural place to network, which I thought was a really good benefit this year.
yeah, yeah. So let's suppose they they ask you what what you would recommend the changes. What would you advise? Like how would you change this? I mean, is it just as simple as let's focus on delivering sessions that are focused on the product itself for Tableau rather than the overarching company and Salesforce and how that Salesforce can help you?
I mean, one of the things that I really enjoyed about keynotes in the past, if we just kind of focus on the keynotes, is
Mm.
I loved how there was always a story told. And the story was about how some company, some charity, some person used Tableau to make a revolutionary change in their organization or to society, right? Um, we don't hear those anymore. Now it's all about the product. Where's the product evolving to? Um, and those were the things that really got me inspired to like, wow, that's kind of how I feel like I use Tableau. I feel like I'm really making a difference. Um, and those it's just the way they choose to do their conference. It's the way they choose to do their keynotes. And my understanding is that's the way it's been with Salesforce. It'd be great to see, a celebrity is not the right word, but a headline keynoter,
Hmm.
on the second day or something like that. Yeah, and I don't know. I think the inspiration needs to be brought back.
So, that's interesting you say that the storytelling aspect. But I love those sessions because um, the reason they resonate with me is because a lot of people can relate to that, right?
Mhm.
When you attend a session, it's like, okay, this is our story. This is how Tableau helped us. And you listen to those stories and it inspires you. And then also
Mhm.
it gives you ideas like, okay, if they did this, these are some things that we can do as well. And just generally speaking, when you're working with data, storytelling is um, a huge aspect of how to communicate your data. It's not just
Mhm.
creating the Tableau dashboards, right? It's how do you tell that story? And if you incorporate that in your conferences and sessions, you that's a huge aspect of using a tool such as Tableau, not just
Yeah.
Tableau, any data tool.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, when the focus now becomes on, Salesforce and how Salesforce can help you, it loses that storytelling aspect, right? And to your point, so when I was at the conference last year, oh, actually, it's still this year. It was in April in San Diego. You're mentioning the keynote and how you noticed that people were not uh, paying attention. I was getting so I did go on my phone during the keynote as well, but it was for a different reason. I was getting texts from people who were watching virtually,
Mhm.
and this is what they were asking me. They're like, they're saying that their impression from watching it on live virtually was uh there wasn't real excitement in the room, and they asked me if this feeling was the same being in person.
Like the buzz in the room, you
The
mean?
buzz in the room,
Yeah.
it wasn't felt virtually, and
Right.
that's what they were saying. And I said, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of feeling the same thing here in the room as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Yep.
Um, and to your point, in the past it was different. Those keynotes were different. Um, and don't get me wrong, I still love um sessions like Iron Viz is still great,
Yeah.
right? Um, you know, and there's still excitement there, and those are all things, and there's still a lot going at Tableau conference that Tableau has that's great and worthwhile to go to, but the points you bring up about the shift and whatnot, I think are things that I don't know if many people have shared the way you did in
Yeah. I
public.
mean, I I don't think people that feel that way have enough courage to do it. Um, you know, I'm not. I mean, that might feel like I'm making them look like a bunch of cowards, but
No,
that's
but
I don't understand why people wouldn't stand up for themselves. Like if you're as passionate about this product and you want it to be the best, why aren't you speaking up? Why is it one person that speaks up that gets messages from a lot of other people feeling the same way? Like, why aren't they commenting or why aren't they, you know, because they got to make it look like a love fest at the end of it. I mean, if you go on LinkedIn after the conference, you would have thought it was the world's best conference. Or not, I'm sorry, after DataFam Europe. I mean, it's
right.
like, come on, don't
Yeah.
don't tell me one thing and then present yourself as something else. It's very fake.
Yeah. No, I get it. Here's the thing also, even in a professional environment, right? If you work at a company or if you're a mentor, right? You want to be honest with people,
Yeah.
right? That's part of the growth, right? It's if you're let's suppose you're my mentor, and
Hmm.
if whenever we meet or we talk, you only tell me things that are good and I'm doing this well and whatnot, there's no growth there,
Right.
right? Like you have to,
Yeah.
like you grow by being honest and saying how, what can you improve? And I think I think the reason why people are afraid to say things is because they don't want to rub people the wrong way or get into trouble. They think they get in trouble. I don't know. Maybe but I think your take is I'm just being honest because at the end of the day, you loved Tableau. You still do love Tableau.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how you make your living, and you still want to continue using Tableau. And so you're coming from a good space. You're not saying these things because you want Tableau to fail. You're saying actually for the opposite reason. You want it to continue to improve.
that's
And
exactly right. Yep.
who knows it better than the people using the product?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more. Um, and that's what I do with my business. I want people to love Tableau. If they join my membership or I work with a company and they don't come out of it loving Tableau, I failed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, listen, Andy, this has been great. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and whatnot. You do have to let me know how it goes, the conversation.
Yeah.
Um, you
Yeah.
know, but I we I'm not speaking on behalf of the data fam, but I am part of the data fam, and I've always appreciated the work that you've done. And I've learned a lot from you, and I hope to continue to do so. And I actually hope that you have the I don't know if you want to, but maybe present some of these sessions as well at the conferences.
Yeah, I haven't spoken at a couple of conferences now. Part of that is I always got selected, um, so I want to make sure that other people have opportunities as well. Like,
Yeah,
if you're wanting to present for the first time, you've got a really good talk. It's okay if I step back, right? But I'm gonna definitely apply next year. I'm gonna reach out to Jeff Schaefer and see if we can bring back the original speed tips. Not these
yeah,
knockoffs that have come afterwards.
right,
Uh,
right.
but yeah, we
Yeah.
did the first one in 2016. So yeah, really really fun. So I'm going to see if he wants to do that again.
No, that'd be great. That'd be
Yeah,
great. And I hope to meet with you again. We did meet last or this year in San
yeah, at the
Diego.
what was it?
The
Yeah,
Vizzies.
Vizzies. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
great.
you were presenting, or you were one of the hosts. It was the
Yeah,
10th year
it's
of the
very nerve
Vizzies.
wracking.
It was, right? Do you
It
think
was
it's
hard
more?
because I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I felt bad because I hadn't seen like the names of the people ahead of time,
Oh, you didn't
and
know who won?
No, I didn't. I don't know if Emily knew or not, but I didn't know who won. But also, like the nominees, I didn't know the list of the nominees, so
Uh,
I couldn't. So I fumbled a lot on names and stuff, and I feel really bad about that because it makes me look unprepared. Um, going back to what I just said, right? I didn't do the audience any justice there. I could have been. I mean, I don't know how I could have prepared better,
yeah.
but I didn't know we were going to read out the whole list of all of the people as well. So, but yeah.
Do you think it's more nerve-wracking doing something like that rather than presenting? Uh,
Well, I think it's different. Um,
yeah.
I love presenting, so I don't, I get nervous, but it's more of an excited nervousness than
Yeah.
this might go terrible. And if it goes terrible, I don't really care. If every presentation isn't going to land. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to say. It was just very different. I've
Yeah.
never presented an award show before, so
No, well, listen,
but hopefully Matt comes back because he and Emily are the duo.
no, I mean, you did a great job. And listen, you obviously have name recognition, so having you up there, I think, meant a lot for many people, me included. So it was great seeing you up
Well, I
there.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope to run into you again. If not at Tableau conference, maybe at some other event or networking opportunity. And appreciate you coming on the show. How can people connect with you? Maybe if people are interested in Next Level Tableau, or maybe you want to
hmm
or connecting on LinkedIn or any other way.
Yeah, so LinkedIn is definitely the best way. And if they've heard about it on this podcast, just maybe mention that in a comment.
Hmm.
If I always recommend to people, don't just send somebody a connection request. Let them know why you want to connect. It takes 2 seconds to write a message in there. You're only allowed like what 200
Yeah.
characters anyway. So
Right.
at least write a brief message. Um, I tend to decline a lot of people if they don't include something like that. Um, so because they can still follow you. They don't have to be connected to you.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn's a good way. That's the only social platform I use now. Um, and nextleveltableau.com is where you can learn about the Next Level Tableau membership and all of the other products that I have. If you're not quite ready for a membership yet, I've got a couple of courses. So you can find stuff on there. All the events are posted on there. So I run webinars, master classes at least once a month, so people can keep an eye out on those. It's kind of free learning. I tell you a bit about Next Level Tableau in exchange for, you know, for the time. But I guess people are used to that in webinars.
Yeah.
But yeah, just keep an eye on LinkedIn. You can join my mailing list as well, because that's where I send my newsletter every week. I tend to write about something Tableau related every week. Tips, tricks, thoughts, kind of whatever. Sometimes I go on a tangent, but I try to keep it focused for the audience.
Yeah, and it's a community in itself, the Next Level Tableau.
It
Um,
is, yeah,
it,
yeah,
I,
and it feels like the old Tableau community.
yeah,
Like we had a dinner at Tableau conference in San Diego, and there were about 30 of us, I guess. And you would have thought that we've known each other for years, and we've all just been these little rectangles in Zoom. But it was, it felt like a family reunion, and it's great to feel that vibe. There's a help desk where you can get, it's kind of like the forums.
yeah,
And there's people that just answer questions on the help desk. They don't come to classes, but that's how they learn, right? So it's got all those different kind of best bits of the Tableau community,
yeah,
or what used to be the Tableau community back in a few years ago, um, as part of Next Level Tableau. That's part of what you get.
yeah. And I talked to or I'm connected with people who are part of Next Level Tableau, and I met them at the conference, and I felt that vibe too. And I went to lunch with a few of them, and I saw that, and they talk very highly of about the about Next Level Tableau as well. And I've had a few of them on my podcast as well. Ojo,
Mhm.
um, Sarah, Sarah
Yeah,
Collett.
yeah,
Yeah. So
palette. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
It's
all
fun,
great
it's
people.
I'm doing what I love to do, and that's teaching and helping people master Tableau,
Yeah.
and really enjoy their jobs. And I think this has really brought my passion for Tableau back. It had started to fade for a few years, and I'm now back to kind of giving my best to people. And it's really really fun. I absolutely love doing it.
Let me ask you one question as it pertains to the actual Tableau product, right?
Hmm.
Just to end off, do you think the do you think AI is going to shift the way we use Tableau Desktop? Is that still going to be, will the focus change on how we're going to work on in Tableau Desktop?
Uh, I mean, there's been no signs that that's going to change.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, if it gets to the point where Tableau Desktop isn't fun to use anymore, I'm just going to stop using Tableau. I'll just
That,
go do
that
something else.
well, that's
And I
part
know
of
that's a
it.
pretty common sentiment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it'd be nice if, and I think some of this is being built in now, is to help you write formulas properly. The
Oh
syntax can
yeah.
be difficult. Syntax can be difficult for people. Like those sort of things are like great productivity features for people. Um, you know, uh,
You, but are
it,
you,
it
you
could have
can,
built charts for you possibly, but you still need to verify everything. My
oh yeah.
concern is people are going to take it for gospel that it's right.
And that's
Um,
true for any type of AI solution,
yeah.
Tableau or not, right? Even if you're using ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever AI tool you're using out there, you can't just try. Although I have to say, if I need any Tableau help, I have used those tools and they are great. They're a
Hmm.
great resource. In the past, when I started using Tableau in the beginning and when I was learning, I would go into the Tableau forums and get a
Yeah.
lot of my questions answered there. And now I am using, like ChatGPT a little bit more to get those answers, and I think it works great. I don't know if
Mm.
you've tried it or what your experience has been.
So I see it gets a lot wrong.
Mm.
As far as like formulas in particular, it doesn't get syntax wrong, but it gets things like aggregations wrong. It'll, if you ask it to write like a level of detail expression, it won't be very accurate. So there are definitely,
Yeah.
and people are just copying and pasting those and assuming they're right because they don't understand the calculations. So that's a concern for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, you still have to validate what you're doing when you're
Yeah, I
using
mean,
it,
my
right?
fear is
So
people aren't going to validate,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
they'll
that's
get caught
fair.
out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, appreciate you joining.
My pleasure. Yeah, thanks for having me.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and leave a rating or review. It really helps more data nerds discover the show. You can find all episodes, plus exclusive merch like the Data Nerd hat, and more at thedatanerdpodcast.com. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and embrace your inner data nerd.